During 2016 Suicide Squad, Margot Robbie tattooed Squad on dozens of her cast and crew members with a tattoo gun she bought off of eBay, anticipating the success that was ever to come.
I gave people tattoos.
I've given 26 tattoos. I gave myself a tattoo.
Did the people want the tattoos?
The actor who played Slipknot in the movie, Adam Beach, probably didn't get one. Or maybe he did. But from the very few interviews and press junkets I could find of him compared to his fellow squad members, he never mentioned it. When the movie introduced his character, he didn't get a fancy little title card like the others. He just gets out of the car and punches a woman. However, Slipknot, the man who could climb anything, couldn't even hold on for a few extra pages and got his head blown off. He slipped up and did not matter at all. Olga Kurilenko, who plays Taskmaster in Thunderbolts, was also absent from most of their oversaturated promotions beyond that one scene, and she was also absent at the premiere. Because Taskmaster in Thunderbolts was unfortunately Slipknot. I couldn't find any interviews of her on YouTube either. If you get where I'm going with it, you know it's not a spoiler because Marvel themselves have been spoiling it with their overwhelming marketing. You also know what the asterisk stands for, as you've already been spoiled by their eagerness to market their alternate title now that the film is out. If you wait till the end of the movie, you find out that the asterisk in Thunderbolts actually stands for therapy. You might have noticed that just like Thunderbolts, the title of this video also has an asterisk after marketing. But unlike Thunderbolts, you don't have to wait till the end to find out what the asterisk means. I'll tell you right now. Marvel doesn't really have a marketing problem. Marvel has an over-marketing problem.
Can we outside of the marketing? Get marketing in here.
It's not that they're bad at marketing. On the contrary, they're actually really good at it. Sometimes too good. Marvel recently has developed a habit of committing frequent errors in handling the MCU. A prime example of that can be their Avengers Doomsday cast reveal video a couple of months ago. It was a great idea. I loved how they introduced each character using their leitmotifs, how the day-long stream and the day-long memes felt like an event. It was also clever how they mixed up the time between the reveals to not be predictable and keep us on the edge. As you can see from this handy chart I made, where I mapped the different times and the variations. However, you included every single Thunderbolts member except Taskmaster? Why are you so impatient? But these are all symptoms of a bigger problem. Their obsession with bloated marketing campaigns. And there are three major downsides to it. 1. Wasting money. 2. Spoiling reveals. And 3. Most importantly, annoying the audience. This is where I would segue into an ad if I ever have a sponsor. But because I don't, this video is sponsored by your undivided attention. Please don't look away. This is the first video on this channel after months of half starting and abandoning ideas because I either lost interest or I couldn't find enough time and energy to focus on editing after coming home from work every day. Or maybe it's just me procrastinating combined with ADHD.
What are you doing? I'm distracting you, you big turd blossom.
I have a lot of thoughts about most things, but not all my thoughts are interesting and not all my interests are thoughtful. But if you're seeing this, that means I managed to finish writing, recording and editing this over this week, and now it's out in the world for you to judge, and there's nothing I can do. I really liked Thunderbolts. It was the first MCU film that felt human in a while. The movie was certified fresh, the marketing felt fresh, it was memorable, also, it was everywhere. Because both the movie and its marketing has widely received a positive response, I'm afraid Marvel will learn the wrong lesson from it. Just like their movies, they have also started believing that quantity is better than quality, even when it comes to marketing. Therefore, we need to first unlearn all of our bad habits we've picked up along the way so that we can learn some good ones. I'm gonna start by giving you, pretend you're my clients, the Marvel execs I'm pitching to. I'm gonna give you a lay of the land to dig deep into what's actually wrong. Then we'll take a closer look at the mostly good and some bad parts of the Thunderbolts marketing campaign. And finally, I'll make you feel better by talking about our glory days, noting down what's missing and what we can learn from it to give Marvel some big picture level brand redirection. Should we do phases? Let's do phases. Phase 1. Marvel's marketing mistakes. I need to get something off of my chest, and I feel like everyone needs to hear this. Not every movie is Deadpool, and not every actor is Ryan Reynolds. This is what we can call the Deadpool delusion. Please stop marketing every movie like it's Deadpool. I know that interest in new MCU movies have been on a downward trajectory since Endgame, which was then immediately worsened by the pandemic. But this is no way to react. Ryan Reynolds is a marketing machine, there's no denying it. From Aviation Gin to Mint Mobile to Wrexham and even legal cases with Justin Baldoni, he's made marketing look like showmanship. But what works for Deadpool comes across as desperate and try hard for others, except maybe for She-Hulk. When you try using the same approach to movies like Eternals, Ant-Man Quantumania, or even Brave New World, it just feels off. Tonally confusing and emotionally hollow. But if Marvel as a studio has lost the ability to make every movie different, at least try making the marketing feel different. By constantly shouting for attention, Marvel has made itself impossible to miss, but also very easy to ignore. When all you have is a hammer, everything does look like a nail. With Deadpool and Wolverine, Marvel got lucky. It's good that they had Hugh Jackman and the character of Wolverine to sell to the audience this time around. Otherwise, I'm not sure if anyone could realistically tell the difference compared to their previous ones. The trick is remembering that this is the one that came out during the popcorn bucket trend. Deadpool is barely a character anymore. It's more a vessel to channel marketing gimmicks. After a while, it just became, oh, they did that too? Cool, I guess. But it was still fun because of the sheer charisma of Ryan Reynolds, and I was gonna watch it anyway. However, the novelty is wearing thin and often being pushed into the red notice category. Instead of marketing being used to elevate and showcase the characters, the MCU characters are currently being used to make marketing and selling the film more convenient. And nowhere else was this more obvious than when I convinced myself to have my hopes up for Captain America: Brave New World. I even started on a review for it, but the movie was neither stimulating nor interesting enough to spend any more time thinking about it. It was just frustrating. Just because Marvel couldn't figure out how else to sell this movie, they had to reveal the Red Hulk and make it the centerpiece of their marketing. Popcorn buckets, cutouts, Funko Pops, and they clearly oversold him because probably this video has more Red Hulk than the actual movie. Imagine if the Red Hulk was kept as a secret and the first time you saw him was in the theaters. I think I would have been at least satisfied because I wouldn't have had any expectations to begin with. Marvel has been traumatized so much by their post-Endgame lack of enthusiasm that their anxiety kicks in every time the early ticket sales are low.
You've experienced a severe anxiety attack.
They are the worst poker players out there. Even when they have a good hand, they have to accidentally drop the card somehow. Especially when your movies keep costing $180 to $200 million and then you go ahead and spend an additional $100 million on marketing. They'll have to make somewhere north of at least $600 million globally to see some profit. So yeah, not a great plan. There's a trick marketers often use when pitching ideas. They include some that they know will get shot down, just for their favorite ideas to look better by comparison. But I guess Marvel has been saying yes to everything just because they can. Good movies are really easy to sell. They usually sell themselves. In the past, I've had the chance to help market some pretty successful Bangladeshi films. But the job was easier because the movies were good. I get it. You have no choice but to sell what you're given. Without the Red Hulk, what else you could have sold? The Serpent Society? When you start asking the right questions like this, you can quickly see that the marketing team weren't given enough to market in the first place. Phase 2. The Avengers are not available. This is a wheel bolt. This is a thunderbolt. This is a lightning bolt. This is a thunderbolt. This is a deadbolt. This is a dead thunderbolt. The original Thunderbolt script by Eric Pearson was apparently a darker, more character-driven film. Most notably, Taskmaster was never meant to die. It also included a running gag where Taskmaster, suffering from amnesia, kept forgetting she was no longer trying to kill Walker, and throughout the film kept trying to assassinate him randomly. All of this was scrapped. What we got was still an entertaining film, but it's hard not to wonder what could have been. Taskmaster, or the lack of Taskmaster in the marketing of Thunderbolts, stands out like a sore thumb. The biggest asterisk in their otherwise very good campaign. You don't have to be a genius to figure out who isn't actually part of the team. You can see which of the actors are contractually obligated to promote the movie and who are not. You introduce someone alongside the core team through trailers, posters, promotional images, but you don't give the audience any reason to care or connect, like Slipknot. It's not like they didn't try. They tried some trailer trickery, like this shot of her in the watchtower in the third act. No matter how many posters they made with her, they just didn't have enough Taskmaster to spread out over their extensive marketing campaign. I'm not even against them going on their second marketing push and getting the word out about their alternate, spoiler alert, new Avengers title. Though it's ruining the end of the movie, I don't think it's making a lot of people less interested in buying a ticket. Getting to use the asterisk as a key visual and a recognizable branding element must have been a very creatively fulfilling task. And I was also having a lot of fun seeing them have fun with it. Just look at this classy, beautiful popcorn bucket. Not the clumsy Red Guardian ones. These. Look how satisfyingly the drink fits into the bucket. All the brand partnerships, Super Bowl spot, the Red Guardian limo service and his Tinder profile, the ASMR video. The hundreds of viral games journalists now have to play as journalism in the 10 minutes they get with the actors during press junkets. I can go on and on. Someone will probably make a video listing all the stuff they did. But you know how some meetings could have been an email? That video could have been a list. But it wasn't a gimmick or a flashy activation that I'll remember the most from the campaign. My absolute favorite piece of marketing they did for the movie was their Absolute Cinema trailer. Just a well-crafted editor's dream of a trailer that introduced me to Gesaffelstein, and I'm grateful for it. It focuses not just on the actors, but the behind-the-scenes people who put in the hard work in making the movie, crafting the movie. Invoking names of critically acclaimed projects to attract cinephiles who will relate to the substance and deeper themes of the film. And if the movie managed to satisfy any of the audiences who were drawn in by this strategy, they won't just become consumers, they will become advocates. Remember how I said that the marketing had one blemish and it was Taskmaster? Well, according to this trailer, she isn't even in the movie. So, how do you fix it? Phase 3. Assembling a solution. The first option is fixing the movie itself. Either expand her role and add more for the character to do, or add more team members so that the marketing is not so unevenly distributed. But that again has the risk of oversaturation. The other option is not showing the character at all and keeping her a surprise. So she'll just show up for a couple of minutes and die. Isn't that even worse? Marvel obviously has a product quality problem too, but I don't get paid enough or at all to fix that. I considered doing a SWOT analysis, but the BCG matrix actually makes a lot of sense here. Developed by the Boston Consulting Group, the BCG matrix represents relative market share on one axis and potential market growth on the other, creating a matrix with 4 categories. High growth, high share, star. Low growth, high share, cash cow. High growth, low share, question mark. And low growth, low share, the dog tier. The dog tier has been brought to you by cats. For a while, Marvel was a star. Explosive growth, untouchable dominance. The biggest cultural phenomena in the modern era of films. But there's nothing called infinite growth. Or in Marvel's case, infinity growth. Now, Marvel still has a great market share, as it has moved to the cash cow category. And that's not a bad thing. It's still stable, it can still be profitable. There isn't superhero fatigue. There's a bad movie fatigue. And all you need to do is just make a good one. And then you hope it works. And if you play your cards right and unlock your new avenues for growth, you can still move back to being a star. Lord.
Star-Lord. Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Here are all the potential touchpoints a movie typically uses when mapping out their marketing strategy. It's about acquiring and monetizing the attention of the people so that the investment is worth it. In broad terms, marketing is making the best use of these touchpoints to maximize the film's visibility, audience engagement, and ultimately, box office success. Echo has been the only MCU project I haven't seen, and I watched 7 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Shows like Secret Invasion and Echo dropped with minimal fanfare because they were drowned out by marketing for the next big thing. It might happen for Ironheart as well. It needs to stop being an all-you-can-eat buffet where no one tries every item. While blanket coverage with more and more activities builds awareness, it arguably leaves too little discovery for moviegoers. I like marketing when it's trying to sell me on the tone and themes of the movie, and I can wait till the movie to get the full plot. Not every movie has to be a 10 out of 10. Not every movie can be. That's my next video. But when you write better scripts, don't let the budget get out of hand, and plan ahead to give you enough time, the good vibes resonate with the audience both consciously and subconsciously, even through marketing. Just like Endgame closed a chapter back in 2019, Avengers Secret Wars in 2027 is set to close another one for Marvel. It will be the 46th film overall in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is supposed to be the finale to Phase 6, ending the multiverse saga. Wherever this version of the MCU eventually ends, maybe with Phase 9 or Phase 10, or whenever Kevin Feige leaves, Marvel, I think, has seen its worst phases already. It has seen its floor. If Marvel ever has a phase worse than the recent ones it had, it might be the end of MCU. Marvel is on the floor right now, critically bruised, commercially bleeding, less and less people caring. And the only way they can go is up. The floor seemed wonderfully solid. It was comforting to know I had fallen and could fall no farther. Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. There's still one last question left to be answered. Who cares about Marvel anymore? Who still cares? I cares. Still caring. Curating my thoughts. Editing this video while I wear my X-Men 97 t-shirt. I wrote a paper on the geopolitical implications of Captain America Civil War in my Master's Film Studies class because I did think it was cinema, despite its flaws. For a year, I had the Iron Man 3 poster as my Facebook profile picture for some reason. I carried my Guardians of the Galaxy stub in my wallet for years because I loved that movie so much, until I lost that wallet. Sometimes when I'm numb and I desperately want to feel something, I rewatch the final battle scene in Endgame, successfully recreating the goosebumps I felt.
Assemble.
Every single time. And I'm not alone. I can see that I'm not alone, and how millions of others still hold on to these moments that became cherished memories for them. The first time I read a Marvel comic was the Spider-Man Amazing Fantasy 15 in Bangla. reprinted by Diamond Comics in India. Cheap paper and smudgy faded ink. It also had an Iron Man story in the back. Despite the cover differences, it was the same story of Spider-Man's origin that we all know, where in the final page Stan Lee wrote, "With great power
comes great responsibility."
So it's my responsibility to ask you, you also care, don't you? You who are still watching or listening in the background? Why else are you here unless maybe you just care about me? Or also people who constantly complain about the MCU, they also care, either knowingly or unknowingly in their own twisted ways. Their grievances, their grief, that means it still matters to them. Because what is grief if not love, persevering? The Marvel brand at its best has always been more than just the capes and the quips. Their heroes walk the same streets we do. They're flawed, broke, proud, loud, and often messy, like us. The best of Marvel doesn't come from a committee or algorithms. It comes from people who care, from creators who believe in the characters. Marvel doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. It just needs to remember what made it turn in the first place. I myself also feel like Marvel right now. Operating at a loss making this video because I'm paying for the music. List of tracks in the description. The magical combination of emotional resonance and cultural relevance is exactly why I've always been drawn to these stories and just movies in general. Not just as a fan, but as someone who wants to tell people why and how he's so fascinated by them. I wouldn't have studied marketing and then moved 8,000 miles to the US to get burdened with student debt and get a master's if I didn't genuinely enjoy it. And pretty sure if given the chance, I can do it all day. If you like this video, like this video. If you really like this video, watch it again. If you subscribe, I promise I'll make more. I'll see you again when you click on me.